5 on your side at 10 starts now.
Bitter breeze. Our weather impact alert continues tonight as wind chills drop below zero. What you need to prepare for as you make your Sunday plans.
Plus, as the coldest air of the year moves into the bi-state, shelters are continuing to step up in a big way.
The operation has been fantastic.
Tonight, chaos and heartbreak at Brown University.
We decided to turn the light off and close all the doors and hide under our desks.
2 lives lost, 8 injured, and a shooter still on the loose. How a community is coping tonight as police search every corner of their campus.
Thanks for joining us tonight at 10. I'm Tracy Hinson. Robert Townsend has the night off. The bitter cold is officially here, and so is our weather impact team to get you ready. Megan Kernan is standing by with how local shelters are stepping up to protect our most vulnerable neighbors. But we start tonight with Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell. Scott, tomorrow may be one of our coldest days of the year.
It very well could be, and let's hope that it is, because if it is, that means changes will be coming. Now into Sunday. Dangerous wind chills are already spreading across the area. Our wind chills have gone below zero tonight, and they will drop to as low as 10 to 20 degrees below zero early tomorrow morning. That means you'll need extra layers out the door if you're going to be outside for any amount of time. You don't want to have exposed skin. Pets need to come inside, and if you have had problems in the past when it gets close to zero with water pipes freezing and having issues there, you'll need to take some protective measures there to keep those pipes warm tonight. We're down to 11 degrees in St. Louis right now. There could still be a couple of flurries south and southeast of St. Louis, but for the most part, all of those snow showers have left, and the cold air is now continuing to surge in. 6 below is what it feels like in St. Charles, 12 below in Litchfield. Cold weather alerts stretch all the way from the U.S.-Canadian border to the Gulf Coast. We have a cold weather advisory for St. Louis. Tomorrow morning's wind chills for us will be around 10 degrees below zero heading out the door in the metro area. We'll see you in a few minutes. We'll tell you how long this is going to last, Tracy.
Alrighty, Scott, tonight the city of St. Louis is extending the Code Blue order. That means shelters will continue with 24-hour operations and increased bed capacity, as leaders call it a lifeline for some of the city's most vulnerable residents. 5 on your side's Megan Kernan continues our team coverage as she's been tracking Code Blue efforts since it was first announced at the end of November. And tonight she's getting new insight into how shelters are handling the growing demand as this weekend's brutal cold sets in. Megan.
Tracy, officials say Code Blue has already made a difference, helping hundreds of people come indoors since Thursday night. We saw that need firsthand tonight. People lining up for warmth and a bed at Peter and Paul's walk-up shelter in North City. Community leaders tell me this weekend is a critical test of how this program is saving lives.
The operation has been fantastic. It's the first year of it. It's the first year with a new administration who has prioritized bringing people inside.
With overnight wind chills expected to plunge well below zero, St. Louis shelters are bracing for one of their busiest weekends yet under the city's Code Blue emergency plan.
Tonight will be very cold. Over the next 2 nights, it might get wind chill below zero. That is not sustainable, and it's not good for the clients who are outside.
Since Thursday, the city has had nearly 300 emergency shelter beds open citywide, with enough space if the need grows. City leaders say so far, no one seeking shelter has been turned away.
We haven't filled up that capacity completely, so that's a good thing.
As the bitter cold sets in, the city is also stepping up to help families still recovering from the May 16th deadly tornado. This week, St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer announced a new $10 million effort to help those impacted.
We also now have hotel rooms and rental assistance available for people affected by the tornado who are family with kids, who are seniors, who have other issues that may put them at risk.
There is more money than we've ever seen prioritized towards keeping people safe and alive this winter.
At Peter and Paul Community Services, CEO Anthony D'Agostino says they're already seeing tornado survivors come through their doors.
Whether it's they are a tornado victim and they're in a home that has no electricity and they didn't want to leave before, but now it's so cold, or it's someone who's sleeping in an abandoned area or underneath a bridge, it doesn't matter. This cold is really dangerous for the health.
And if you need help finding shelter tonight, call 211. It connects you to open beds and transportation right now. If you see someone outside in this cold, call 311 to report a concern. And in a life-threatening emergency, always call 911. With wind chills dropping below zero, officials say getting inside can save a life.
Megan, thank you. We also have a full list of warming shelters available across the bi-state area on KSDK.com. For a link, just text the word warming to 314-425-5355. Tonight, 2 are dead and many more wounded after gunfire erupted on the campus of Brown University. The community has been told to shelter in place as police continue their search for the suspect behind the attack. Aaron Logan from our sister station in Providence, Rhode Island, has the latest details on the ongoing investigation.
A lot of fear, uncertainty, and sadness here on Brown University's campus. The news that 2 people are dead and 8 are in critical but stable condition, just simply heart-wrenching. And hours later, just after 8 p.m., the search for the shooter or shooters continues. You can see the heavy police presence here behind me. Now, that shooting happened just after 4 p.m., a short distance away from where I'm standing at the Barris and Hawley Engineering Building. Brown University sent out an alert urging everyone to, quote, lock doors, silence phones, and stay hidden until further notice. You can imagine how terrified these students were who were in the building doing work or studying for final exams. According to the university, this is day 2 of finals. And at one point, there were reports that the shooter was in custody, and then shortly after, the information was corrected that police are still searching for a shooter or shooters. One of our NBC photographers just a few blocks away spoke with a student who had to shelter in place and hide for nearly 2 hours.
We heard a lot of noise by the police outside our lab, and I also received a notification that they want everyone to get out of the building so that they can search every corner of the building to hunt for the shooter.
And now, again, just after 8 p.m., a very active scene where police are still searching for a shooter or shooters, and we will continue to follow this developing story throughout the evening. In the meantime, our thoughts are with all the victims. In Providence, Rhode Island, Aaron Logan, NBC News.
We have an update on a deadly shooting that happened last month in Dutchtown. Tonight, St. Louis police say they've arrested 2 men in connection with the case. The shooting happened on Donica Avenue. Police say Brian Arparcio was shot inside his girlfriend's car. She then drove to South Grand and Merrimack and called 911. He was rushed to the hospital but later died. This week, police arrested Cavion Cook and Solomon Rouse. Both suspects were seen on video approaching Arparcio's girlfriend's car immediately before and after the shooting. Tonight, they're being held without bond and facing multiple charges, including first-degree murder. Well, just before the dangerous cold settled in, volunteers spread out across Jefferson Barracks National Cemetery for the annual wreath laying. The yearly event honors veterans by placing a wreath on all the headstones. It was just one of more than 5,600 events organized by Wreaths Across America today. Well, it is the season of giving, and that's exactly what first responders in St. Charles got the chance to do earlier today. This afternoon, police officers got together with firefighters, members of the city's Ranger Division, and a group of volunteers to give out gifts and meals. Santa and his elves, of course, were there to greet kids and families. They gave gifts to more than 50 children in need. They received toys and even bikes.
Rebuilding hope in North St. Louis.
Helps us the hope that we're looking for after the devastation.
How Project Connect is helping neighbors recover from a devastating tornado and shaping the future of 6 historic neighborhoods.
The cold air combined with the wind right now is making for dangerously cold conditions into early Sunday. Cold weather advisories in effect, but we are tracking a pattern change that brings a dramatic warm-up to the bi-state.
Today, a chance to chime in on the future development of several neighborhoods in North St. Louis. 5 on Your Side's Reagan DeTrolio shows us how a program called Project Connect is helping grow communities.
The city of St. Louis is a great place. I love the city.
Barbara McRae wants the city to stay that way. She lives in the Jeff Vanderloo neighborhood, one of the 6 North St. Louis neighborhoods that are a part of Project Connect.
I think it's a great opportunity for the city for everybody to get involved. It helps us the hope that we're looking for for after the devastation.
Project Connect is investing in disinvested areas, even helping the neighbors still picking up the pieces from the May tornado.
When we are talking about investing in the community and redeveloping in an area, we definitely want to make sure that we have our community members' voices, desires, and goals at the forefront of whatever the city is doing.
These plans focus on housing vacancy, economic development, transportation mobility, sustainability, workforce, culture, and more.
We work with neighborhood planning committee members from each of the neighborhoods that give us insight on some of the opportunities that they want to see in their neighborhood around all of those topics.
On Saturday, community members had the chance to look over these plans. They're expected to help revitalize each one of these 6 North St. Louis neighborhoods. Project Connect started as a city initiative to understand the impacts of relocating neighborhoods near the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. If you live in St. Louis Place, Old North St. Louis, Jeff Vanderloo, Carr Square, Columbus Square, or Hyde Park, these maps are for you to dive into. North City neighbors like McRae hopes the initiative is a huge success, especially for younger generations to come.
Even for the young to come in and start businesses and housing, for young people to own their own houses, because a lot of them still lived in grandma's houses and stuff, but here's the opportunity, chance for you to own your own home.
Reporting in St. Louis, I'm Reagan DeTrolio, 5 on your side.
Now, if you couldn't make it today, the neighborhood plans will be available to look at on Monday. You can find a link to this story on KSDK.com. Still ahead, new coats and warm smiles, the major giveaway getting families ready for freezing temperatures. Plus, over the last 12 months, the journalists at 5 on Your Side have covered thousands of stories across the St. Louis area. Join us Wednesday night as we take a look back at our most memorable stories of 2025. You can watch the premiere of our hour-long special at 7 p.m. Wednesday on 5+. You can download it on most smart TVs and watch it for free. Well, right on time, before tonight's freezing temperatures moved in, more than 1,000 children across St. Louis were given free winter essentials. You're looking at pictures provided by Spire, one of the organizers from today's giveaway in Florissant. Kids were gifted new hats, coats, gloves, and boots for free. Spire also shared financial assistance materials for families who may need help paying their energy bill. Well, the slopes are officially open at Hidden Valley Ski Resort. It's the earliest skiers have been able to visit the Wildwood Resort in over a decade. This video provided by the resort shows the moment all the fun began with the annual First Chair Banner Break. There are 9 trails. Oh, let's see. Oh, I love it. Now that would be really fun. I wonder how they pick who gets to go on that one. Alrighty, now there are 9 trails ranging in difficulty for riders of all skill levels. The resort will be open until March. Now that's weather permitting, so always check their page.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, especially because, Scott, this week, perfect for Hidden Valley. They love when it's cold, below 20, so they can make that snow.
Oh, they're making snow. Yeah.
Then we're going to have melting.
And then it's going to melt. Yeah, we have a big warm up on the way, but we got to get through the next 36 hours. So what's new with our forecast here? Really, there's no forecast changes. The Arctic chill has arrived. We have wind chills tomorrow morning from 5 degrees below zero to 20 degrees below zero. They'll come up above zero in the metro area during the afternoon. But overall, a much warmer week ahead once we get past this bout of cold air. You're down to 10 in St. Charles and Alton, 6 in Litchfield. Those are the actual temperatures, but it feels like it's below zero from Rolla to Chesterfield, right up 44 and out Interstate 70. Flora feels like 6 below, so does St. Charles, 3 below the current wind chill as you head out to Chesterfield. These dangerous wind chills lasting into tomorrow morning, probably through midday. We're still below zero. You'll need the extra layers if you're heading outside. You know, Hidden Valley's open. They're making snow. To ski, you've got all those extra layers on. You're protecting yourself. Your pets want to come inside, that's for sure. Look at your futurecast wind chills tomorrow morning. Could be close to 20 degrees below zero off to the northeast of St. Louis. Most of us around the metro area, 10 to 12 below zero tomorrow morning. That's from the sustained steady breezes. That's not from the wind gusting. Temperatures tomorrow morning will be within a few degrees of zero either side. So tomorrow is our weather impact alert day. Beyond that, look at this 7-day forecast. Temperatures go back into the 50s by Tuesday. Far cry from that right now. It's 11 degrees in St. Louis. It feels like 3 degrees below zero with that north-northwest wind at 12 miles per hour. 34 was the high. Current temperatures are low temperature. And so far for the day, tomorrow morning, we're thinking single digits around zero, a little bit above for most of us. But some spots may drop back below zero up to the north and northeast of St. Louis. While we have full sunshine tomorrow, we're only going back into the mid-teens, and those wind chills stay below zero through lunchtime. So let those faucets drip overnight if you've had some problems, especially along the outer walls of your house. Maybe you want to open the cabinet doors underneath the sinks and let the heat in from the room, especially again on those exterior walls. And dogs and cats should come inside and heat your home safely. Make sure your smoke detector is working tonight. Again, we look at the high temperatures for the next 7 days. Of course, tomorrow stands out like a sore thumb. 15 degrees, but then after that, we are at or above average. And the next weather system doesn't come in until Wednesday night, overnight, and into Thursday. It'll try to pull some moisture in here and give us a chance for at least a few showers as we head into Thursday in the morning, but it's rain showers. Temperatures are all above freezing, and that's pretty much reflected here in our forecast. When we finally do see the temperatures back off a little bit on Friday, that 42 is more like an average temperature for this time of year versus the much below average that we're seeing right now. And as we go into the week of Christmas, the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, holy cow, much above average all across the middle part of the country. Big pattern change coming.
I lived in Grand Rapids, Michigan for 2 years, and now I'm here in St. Louis. I have never had a white Christmas. Never.
That's terrible. And the chances this year are slim to none.
They're not happening. And I know you put the bring your dogs and cats inside because if you said outdoor animals, Gary would have gotten mad at you because all the horses would have been inside tonight.
I know. They could still come in.
Better not tell Gary. All righty, well, Holden is up with our sports tonight. Holden, how's it looking?
Well, the SLU Billikens are continuing to build their resume as we inch towards March, and history was made tonight as the Heisman Trophy was announced. I'll tell you who took it home coming up next in sports.
And with Christmas just around the corner, KSDK is teaming up with Foster and Adoptive Care Coalition to make the holidays brighter for kids impacted by foster care. We're getting close, everyone. We have less than 800 little wishes left to grant. Here's how you can help.
They can go to ksdk.com/littlewishes, and that link will take them to our Little Wishes Holiday Program website where they can search by child's name, by price point, by the kind of gift that they want to give the kids, and grant a wish just right online.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel is now available in Missouri.
If you haven't made it to Chaffetz to catch a SLU basketball game this season, it might be time to buy a ticket. The Billikens are ranked 42nd in Ken Palm and had the ability to improve their resume tonight against San Francisco. Josh Schertz was coaching the Bills up early in this one as the Dons came to play, and Ryan Beasley was a handful tonight, leading all scorers with 21. But excuse me, that actually looks like we've got the Illini highlights there, and they had a tough game tonight against Nebraska, and it would come down to the final shot, and Jamarquez Lawrence would can it with just 1 second left, and that would give Nebraska the 83-80 win. That's their best start in school history.
Loose balls, 50-50, ball hits our hands out of traps. When you're mentally sharp and you're dialed in and you're focused, you come up with those. Today we didn't. And so my hat's off to them. They deserve to win the game.
Here's those SLU highlights. Josh Schertz was coaching the Bills up early as the Dons came to play, and Ryan Beasley was a handful, leading all scorers with 21. But SLU would lead by a point at half, and it's because of plays like this. Watch as Kellen Thames went coast to coast. He would have 10 points off the bench, and even when Thames missed tonight, Amari McCautry was there to clean it up. He finished with 18 points and 5 boards as SLU ran away from San Francisco 85-75. The Heisman Trophy is an award seemingly unlike any other in sports. It's 25 pounds of cast bronze that young men spend their entire lives dreaming of lifting above their heads. And it's time to find out who etched their name into the history books.
The winner of the 2025 Heisman Trophy is Fernando Mendoza.
For the first time ever, the Indiana Hoosiers are bringing home a Heisman Trophy. Quarterback Fernando Mendoza beat out the likes of Diego Pavia, Julian Sayin, and former CBC standout Jeremiah Love. Speaking of the Notre Dame running back, a lot of people are wondering exactly what the future holds for him.
I got to do what's best for me. I got to, take care of my family. So maybe most likely, maybe there's a small chance, I continue playing collegiate ball, but been discussing with my family. Announcement's coming soon.
Tough news tonight out of Columbia after standout defensive end Zion Young was arrested earlier this morning. According to Highway Patrol, Young was cited for suspicion of DWI, speeding, and improper display of a license plate. In a statement, head coach Eli Drinkwood said he is aware of the situation and it will be addressed. There's somewhere in the neighborhood of about 25,000 military families here in the St. Louis area, and I have a feeling their eyes were glued to the TV screen for the 126th Army-Navy game. To Baltimore we go, where Navy would get the ground game going early, and quarterback Blake Horvath would just go right around the right edge, make a defender miss, and the midshipmen draw first blood. The Army, though, would answer in the second behind Cale Helms, who simply just lowers his head. And his cadets are fired up. Army would lead 16-7 at one point, but there on 4th and goal, Navy would take the lead as Eli Heidrich calls it in, and the midshipmen would hold on. 17-16 is your final. And some big news for the Cardinals today. They made a big signing. Multiple sources are reporting that they are bringing in Dustin May for a one-year deal with a mutual option for 2027. The 28-year-old has a career ERA of 3.86 over 324 innings. It's back to you.
Alrighty, thanks, Holden. Well, Scotty, it's going to be a cold night. We'll see you here tomorrow morning on Today in St. Louis.